Hello to all of my journalers, my travelers, my planners, and all y'all in between. Thank you for tuning in to my video today. My name is Journals, HT Journals, and in this video, I'm talking about culture shock and how to ease the tension and just like the feelings that come with being in a new place. So before I get started, let me just say that reverse culture shock was much harder for me than culture shock. And that's not to say that what I experienced wasn't drastic, because it was. I was just more tolerant of a lot of things that was happening because I was excited about being in another country and just being on a brand new adventure. All right, so let's start with defining what culture shock is, right? Just making sure we're all on the same page. So, culture shock is when you go to a different country or maybe even just like a different place and it's entirely different from your own. And this place has another culture, different views, language, even different weather, mannerisms, attitudes, and even etiquette. And so the experience and reactions you have to all of those things I just mentioned is called culture shock. It's an emotional, mental, and even physical shock that you go through due to exposure to all of these things. If you're wondering, can you prevent culture shock? No, you can't. It's just going to happen. Culture shock is going to happen. There's nothing you can do. There's no amount of YouTube binging, blogs, books you read, people you talk to who live in that country, people you talk to who visited there or just came back from living in that country. There's nothing you can do to prevent culture shock. Certainly those things help, like help you learn about the environment you're going to be in and helps ease the tension a little. That's like the groundwork type stuff, but it's not really, none of that stuff really helps you. One of the main things I feel you can do to help you ease the tension of culture shock is get a hobby. And not just get one, like have one before you get to this new country. And I say this because unless, let's just say you're trying to learn a hobby when you get there, which is possible, right? That's possible. But unless you find a foreigner community, which doesn't always happen that fast, mind you, unless you find a foreigner community that's doing whatever activity that you want to learn, a lot of the details of this hobby that's being taught to you is going to be lost in translation. So it's important, I feel, to already have at least a foundation of what it is you like to do and you can keep doing it, this hobby, have it already. So that all you have to do is just meet these groups of people, or you can just continue to do them alone in your own space. So you want to get like a universal hobby, whether it be working out, hiking, taking photos, or more like niche hobbies like sewing, crochet, knitting, playing an instrument, even sports or salsa dancing, which is what I used to do. And when you have these hobbies, it puts you in a position to be occupied. And when you get to a new place, the last thing you want to do is be idle. Because when you're idle, you're thinking of home and your friends and all the things you used to do. When you have a hobby from home, it's like bringing something with you from wherever you come from that's familiar. So these hobbies, you can do them alone, by yourself, or you can do them in groups, and it's a good way to meet other natives. So that's one of the first things that I would suggest. Get a hobby. The second thing you can do to ease the tension of culture shock is bring a taste of home with you. Listen, let's be honest. Care packages are tedious to put together and they're like expensive. I was lucky enough to get packages sent to me often. All the time, actually. But let's be honest, that might not be your reality, right? So getting snacks mailed to you, scratch that out of the picture. You might think, all right, you could just find restaurants or whatever that you enjoyed back in wherever country you come from and this new country you go to. That might be slim to none as well. Um, because unless you live in like a major city, it's if you live in the countryside, you're not gonna find IHOP, right? And even if you do live in a major city, the options of international restaurants might not be what you particularly like. And if you do like it, you can guarantee that it's going to be expensive because all those things and spices have to be imported. So your best bet is to just bring your spices and different foods with you so that you could cook it whenever you need a taste of home. When I left for Korea, I brought beans, I brought sazon, adobo. Because listen, I was anxious to try Korean food, and when I got there, I love Korean food. But there were moments when I needed a break. I needed a hamburger, which I can make with my own spices. I needed arroz con habichuelas, which I can make with my own beans. So bring some of your food with you. It'll really help you in the long run. The third and last thing I'm going to note for this video of what you can do to ease the tension of culture shock is make use of your time. Now listen, this is going to be tough to hear, but you're going to have tons of friends and family saying that they're going to call you and keep in contact all the time when you get to your new country. That's not going to happen. You're going to lose friends. It's a sad truth, and it's okay. Don't waste too much time, and I'm not saying don't waste time at all, but don't waste too much time trying to hang on to these relationships because you're going to be missing out on experiences you can be having where you are. So instead, like, focus on yourself. This is a perfect time for self exploration because let's face it, when you're in your comfort zone, things about yourself don't come to the surface. There might be flaws there that you don't know about, right? So use this time when you realize that you're not speaking to them because they haven't picked up, because they're too tired, or whatever the case may be, for self building, self love, self exploration. Okay, so I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Next week I'll have another video. I love y'all for watching. Bye.